Alright, check it out guys. This is the new Toyota GR86 manual premium version in Trueno blue, and it's one of the only rear-wheel drive sport cars that you can get now under $35,000. Also, I'm wearing a GR shirt just because it's a GR today. Let's go for a drive. The biggest complaint that we had about the GR86 and the BRZ in the past was that it was just slow, in which they have now increased the power to 228 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque through a 2.4 liter now, not a 2.0 boxer engine, which also means that the pistons are set up horizontally, giving it a lower center of gravity. The added power feels significantly better because peak torque is now much earlier in the power band, and I'm happy to report that there's no more torque dip halfway in the power band like the last one. There's even a graph on the instrument cluster that shows you the power band just like the last one, and since it's naturally aspirated, there's no turbo lag at all, which means you don't have to worry about being in boost on the track. It's kind of like a budget 911 GT3 if I'm pushing it, and a rear-wheel drive track setup, except it's 1/10 of the cost. The acceleration time is almost a whole second faster than the last generation, putting it in the low 5-second range, which is a huge win for this car. But that's not what this car is about. This car is all about the handling. And just like before, using the same recipe of a lightweight chassis, rear-wheel drive, and LSD, and amazing suspension dynamics, so you can throw it into corners just like this. The steering is super responsive and it does exactly what you want it to do. It has the right amount of weight and feedback. It's pretty easy to push this car around here in these corners. God damn, this thing is good. I think I want to sell my Type R for this. It might not be as quick on the track as the Type R, but I think that's mostly just because the Type R is a faster car in a straight line. This thing is way more fun and playful in the corners. And it sounds pretty good too. Let's see how it does around here. It kind of feels like a go-kart. It's so much fun to drive this thing. The back just rotates you around the corners so nicely. It is so nimble. There's something about this chassis that I can't put into words. The suspension is on the stiffer side, but it's still more than comfortable enough for a daily driver. The brakes are pretty standard, they're nothing special. I wish there was an option for 4-piston Brembos or something, but heck, it's a $35,000 car, I can't complain. If you're getting this car, you absolutely need to get the 6-speed transmission. I think it's almost the same as before, but it does feel a little notchier. It helps knowing what gear you're going to be throwing it in. And the throws are also moderately short for a non-short shifter. But then again, it's still made for daily driving. But it's also a very raw, unforgiving transmission. It takes a little bit of effort to get rev matches right and downshifting it perfectly. It doesn't have all the assist features and all gadgets like you do in the Type R or something that helps you drive. It's way more raw, but it also makes it way more fun this way. The GR86 does come with Michelin Pilot 4S's as standard for the premium version, but if you don't get the premium version, you will get the Michelin Premises instead. While we were getting these drone shots, I decided to meet up with the car and take a shortcut through the forest, and it mysteriously just dropped out the sky from a little over 300 feet into a bunch of wooded forest areas, so we ended up having to go for a little hike. We eventually found the drone and it was perfectly fine. So now let's get to exterior shots. Alright, there is no car for $35,000 that looks as good as the GR86. Although there are some slight differences with this and the BRZ, starting with the front bumper. It is designed a little differently and I think it looks much better than it does on the BRZ. There's also a duck lip in the back, only available for the premium version, which you cannot get on the BRZ. And I'm sure it does provide some downforce. The taillights remind me a lot of the NSX taillights, which I think looks pretty good on this car. And these front lights are actually cornering lights, which means they move when you move the wheel. Definitely a very nice touch for a budget car. The vents on this car is also all real. There's absolutely zero fake vents all around the car. You only get one wheel option for this car, and it's these gorgeous 18-inch black wheels. But the best part about this car are those hips. They look so damn good on this car. The whole car kind of reminds me of a Porsche, especially when you look at it from some angles like this one. The interior is actually very simple. These front seats are comfortable and they hold you in really nicely. If you do get the premium version, you will get Alcantara on the seats, along with the door panel and on some parts of the dashboard, so light doesn't reflect at the driver. The steering wheel is the same as before, but they've now included a GR badge on it, along with the GR badge on the stop start button and other places around the car, so you always know you're driving a cool car. There is also wireless Apple CarPlay, blind spot monitor, and rear cross traffic alert. The whole interior is pretty simple and intuitive to use. But the best part about the interior is the dashboard. There's a whole bunch of graphs that you can cycle through, including a cool track gauge, and I love these shift lights that turn yellow and red. The startup screen and all the animations that come along with it is a very nice touch. The whole interior comes together really well. Even though it is pretty basic, there's nothing crazy about it. The whole car kind of follows the whole philosophy of being simple and raw, which makes it a very good platform to mod out of, because Toyota knows that none of you guys are leaving this car stock. In a year from now, there's going to be so many turbocharger kits and wide body kits for this car. The aftermarket support for the GR is going to be huge. For those looking into getting their first or second car, especially in their 20s and 30s, this is a great affordable option to hop into a true sport car, which sadly is dying. There is no car for this price point that provides this much fun. Even if you spend $100,000, there's nothing out there that comes close to this car, unless you're going to Porsche 911 GT3 level. So many young buyers are now just getting into these boring four-door sedans and SUVs that they don't need, because product planners design cars for everyone, yet offend no one. That's why when you look around now in parking lots and on the street, all these cars lack personality. They're all these blobs of silver, white, and gray. But the team at Toyota GR are actually car enthusiasts. They understand the mindset of buyers, because they are those buyers. And what happens when you let them design a car? That's how the GR86 happened. Along with the GR Supra and the new GR Corolla, they ended up making some of the most fun and exciting cars of this generation. So many people now are so caught up with just power numbers read from a sheet of paper. They forget how fun and exciting a car like the GR86 can really be. Comparing this with like a Tesla 0 to 60 time is like comparing a microwave to a barbecue grill. It may cook faster, but nobody ever wished for a microwaved burger. This GR is a true driver's car. It's deliberate, it's exciting, and it definitely has me thinking of buying one now. It's the grilled burger. It's hands down the best new sport car that you can buy now for just under $35,000. And that's what makes this burger so good, which we're gonna go get now, because hiking through that forest to find the drone made us hungry. Thanks for watching. Alright, we got a little bit hungry, so we're using the Type R wing as a dinner table.